I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Kakwadash. The bonus goes into the apostles and elders, a great millstone that have taught me the truth. Much love, peace, blessings goes out to all you hopeful elect brothers that are teaching the word of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, as well as you sincere listeners out there, you brothers and sisters that are hearkening to these videos that are being done through the Spirit. Shalom, peace, blessings. But I want to do this video in response to this video I played in the beginning to go into the scriptures about how Esau, your worst fears are coming to pass, because as you brother could see from the video I played, this was a interview back in 1989. It was part of some type of documentary where they were given baby boomers. So that would, like, those people today will be people around the 60s and 70s. So back then they would have been in their late 40s and 50s, or possibly early 40s, you know. And they were interviewing, and one segment was about this Edomite woman. As you can see, she was from the South and pretty much gave the picture of the mindset of a lot of those racist Edomites that she was raised around, that, you know, the general consensus was fear. They feared so-called blacks getting into power. Well, hey, the many how Bashim Shah is here to tell you, Edomites, that their worst fears are about to come to pass, because the past 500 plus years that have been on the timeline in this earth, you've been able to rule through the Renaissance, through conquering and pillaging people all throughout the earth. See, because it wasn't just America. It wasn't just this place that you got to enslave and brutally murder people of color, right? So-called Native American Indians and so-called Negroes, which are Israelites. But this devil, he really went throughout the whole earth conquering and pillaging, even non-Israelite nations. When you go into what he did to China and Japan, right? How he was selling those opiates to the Chinese in the 1800s through the British, right? Because the British Empire, who they were Edomites as well, you know, in different offices, because you have some periods where the kings of the British Empire were actually Israelites, like King James. He was an Israelite. By the time King James was on the scene, you had several British colonies in the United States, you know. But that was during a time period where Edomites were getting into prestigious offices. They started to become kings, and they started to become, you know, military generals all over again, and own land, and were able to explore throughout the earth. And you know what they were doing? Conquering, pillaging, robbing, raping, and murdering. So if you go back to this time set, this would have been post, you know, I should say after the establishment of Esau's dominance, the early 1900s here in America, right? This was a scene where, you know, so-called blacks were not, you know, it was commonly known that they viewed our people as the inferior race, and that they believed themselves to be superior, XYZ, right? And you fast forward to the late 1900s, where you got the 1970s, 80s, 90s, where Esau tried to reverse all his white supremacy and try to mask what he did. But hey, the remnants of what you've done is still here. It's still alive on the internet, still alive in the books, and most importantly, it's alive in the scriptures, man. So you Edomites, hey, you about to catch hell. You about to go into slavery on a level that's not been seen to man. You about to be low, man. And that's the simple message here, okay? Because first, what I want to hint on is how this woman made the sense of, or she made the statement that there was a sense of, like, these Edomites would say, you know, how if Jake got into power, there'll be no fairness. Well, hey, is it not fair to pay you back according to what you did? Is it not fair to, if you sat there and knocked the teeth out of several, if a group of so-called white men knocked the teeth out of a black man, knocked his teeth out, dismembered his body, you know what I'm saying, dismembered him, and then hung him and burned him for the same things that happened to those individuals? It's not that fair. But you see, Esau, he misconstrues terms, right? Because really it's all about him escaping judgment. He doesn't believe any hair on his little leprous head should be touched, no matter what he does. You see what I'm saying? Because the audacity of an Edomite in the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s to say there will be no fairness is out of this world. Their audacity is out of this world because they were the ones that have not been fair. They were the ones, for as long as they've been in rulership, to be committing unrighteous acts. You know, but these devils, man, they're going to learn the hard way. You know, they're going to learn. Deuteronomy 16 and 18, it says, judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee throughout all thy tribes. And they shall judge the people with just judgment. You see? So that's a part of Israelite culture. You see, this modern day niggerism where you got so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans on the internet cursing each other out, you know, killing each other for petty arguments. That's a recent invention, because when our people were more in tune and synchronized with their culture and understood the law, statutes, and commandments, even think back to the 60s, think back to the 50s when Drake was predominantly Christian, they believed in it. There was more of a sense of fairness, and how much more if you go back to the ancient world, because in the scriptures, the Most High commanded for our judges and officers to be just. So if someone got an ass kicking or someone got put to death or beat up or XYZ at the commandment of a judge, is righteous. And that's what the Most High is going to do when he sets back up his people as the judges of the earth, right? Because it's funny that this Edomite describes so-called blacks as being the charge as their fear, as one of their fears, right? But their worst fear is about to come to pass because, look, our people, see what these Edomites didn't understand, because these were Joe Schmo Edomites, Joe Sixpacks. What they didn't understand is that our people are the chosen people. And they fucked up majorly by putting their hands on our people. And now they're living in a time where they're getting recompense, man. And I want to look up this word for just to get the definition for justice, tazadak, which also means righteous. Tazadak is outline of justice, righteousness, what is right or just or normal, righteous, justness of weights and measurements. See, so righteousness is also equated with normalcy, man. So you can see a lot of things going on this earth. It's not normal, like these LGBT. That even proves that these devils are unrighteous, man. So it says, in a physical sense, straightness. This is from the Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, Gesenius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon says, tazadak, in a physical sense, straightness, rightness, straight path. Hence, in an ethical sense, rectitude, right. What is right and just, what is so or ought to be so. One doing what is right. To my creator, I will ascribe rectitude, i.e. I will vindicate his right, hence to judge the right, or hence shapat tazadak, to judge the right, to judge justly. Let's go down. Yeah, that's pretty much the point, because really when you look at it, a just judgment is a consequence. Who is in power going to determine what's to be done to an individual based upon what they've done, right? So the just punishments, the punishments and the repercussions of what's going to come upon you Edomites is going to be righteous. Everything that happens from you being in chains to XYZ, that's ascribed in the scriptures, it's going to be righteous, man. Right? Because here it says, Isaiah 1:26, and I will restore thy judges at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward shalt thou be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. See? The Most High saying that he's going to restore our judges And that is going back to us being in tune with the Holy Scriptures, man. Being in tune like with the new covenant, as a lot of guys be talking about these days. The new covenant. That's when we're going to have the laws, statutes, and commandments in our bodies to be able to judge the heathen. That's the whole point, you know. So, hey, the smackings and the ass kickings that's going to be handed out in the kingdom is going to be righteous, because even the scriptures talk about giving stripes to servants, man. Here in 2 Thessalonians 1:6, seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. And who have troubled us? Who's troubled the Israelites? You so-called white people, man. You troubled us for a number of years. And we see we're in these times, these politically correct times, but that in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and the wisdom of the scriptures, that doesn't negate the consequences. It doesn't negate, just because we're in an era where you people, you Edomites are not, you don't have us coming to and fro from this country on cargo slave ships, and you don't have us in chains and whipping us per se. All the past deeds unto the things you're doing now to our people, you have to pay for them, because the tribulation, that's a payback, right? That's any little thing that you do to us that's unjust. So even something like a parking ticket, where you got to take your hard-earned money to pay this man's legal system, the Most High, he gonna pay you back for even that. You get smacked up for even that. You know what I'm saying? All of that, man. Every single doing, and it's going to be played out in the form of you being in slavery for 1,000 years, and all the punishment and the building, the hard labor you're going to have to do and commit, and the even the verbal, even the mocking that Israelites are going to do to you. Everything of that in that time period is going to be the recompense, the payback to you devils, man. Because, I mean, I haven't even touched on the exact details of what you were doing to our people, man. But you Edomites have done a number, all type of trickery and chicanery and witchcraft, spells you put on our people. What about that? What about all of that? Hey, look, think about Balaam and Balak. I believe it was Balak that hired Balaam, which Balak was a king of Moab who hired Balaam, which was basically a wizard, to put a curse on the Israelites. And Balaam recognized how holy and favored our people were to the Most High. So that beauty made him fear from putting a curse on us. And guess what? He didn't even put the curse on us. It was in his mind to do so, and he was rerouted, but still the Most High killed his ass. The Most High had it to where when our people passed over his village, where he was from, where Balaam was from, he got his ass put to death. And you Edomites have done several curses to our people. You didn't even fear knowing who we were and our people, our relationship with the Most High. You have done the most. And this is an attempted curse the Most High killed that dude for. So how much you Edomites? So this is the last verse or last chapter we're going to read through Ezekiel 35. This is Ezekiel 35 and verse 1. It says, "Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it." And this was why brothers are prophesying against these Edomites. That's why the Most High put us in America, to say the words of wheat. And that's why we experienced what we went through, because you Edomites, the Most High has declared severe judgment to you. It says, "And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and will stretch out my hand against thee, and will make thee most desolate." Oh, why is he going to make you most desolate? Because your people are going to be eliminated. You're going to be most desolate. It says, "I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord." And this is going to be a sweeping judgment the Lord is going to do. The wars and the famine Hey, that's gonna make some cities desolate in itself. And then the nuclear warfare. When cities get entire country, the entire country of America, who's run by Mount Seir, gets destroyed, man. This is how the Most High is gonna fulfill that. It says, so this is the reason, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. And that's what they did to us. They shed our blood. Israelites hanged. Israelites shot down by cops in the streets like it was nothing. They just poured 60 bullets into a man out there in Akron, Ohio, man. You know? It says, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. And that's what the Most High is setting you up. See, because the preparation is a setup. See, a lot of things that are happening right now. Oh, and think about it. From the very point of where Esau laid hands on our people, it was a setup. He was being set up to meet his fate, in which he is living out right now. Now, you fast forward, you look at the tensions between Russia, you look at the collapsing economies, you look at the revolts that are going on, the food shortages. This is how the Lord is preparing these people for blood, because a lot of Edomites are about to start dropping dead. It says, sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill it, and that means no traffic. It means no coming in and out of their countries, man. They're going to be finished. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. And in thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. So it's going to be death everywhere. It's going to be death in the city. It's going to be death outside the city. And you know what's going to bring that death? Nuclear missiles. Nuclear missiles are going to hit every fucking geographical location. No, Salakia. They're not going to hit every geographical location, but every geographical location in America is true. That's why it's saying that in the scriptures. But it's going to hit in other parts, where these Edomites dwell, certain major cities throughout the world. It says, I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So your cities aren't going to get built back up. Just like this lady spoke on this era known as the Reconstruction, where the South was building itself back up again. And no, that's not going to happen. Once your cities go down, they're not going to be built back up. It says, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. And what are those two nations and two countries? The two nations of Israel, meaning the kingdom of Judah, which represents Benjamin, Levi, and Judah, and then the kingdom of Israel, which represents the 10 northern kingdom tribes. For example, a couple of them: Ephraim, Gad, Manasseh, Naphtali, Simeon, Reuben, Issachar, Simeon, Zebulun, Asher. Okay, so our people gonna get their payback, man. It says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. And that is that's what you call just. That's what you call righteous, because the Most High is not trumping up false charges against you. It's not as if you getting judged for nothing. Your judgment is coming to you for everything you have done, from your hatred to these laws you put out there to get our people trapped up. Hey, it's coming out. A lot of the marijuana laws they used to criminalize drugs were just used to fuel the prison system. But those laws, like in the I believe this was the 20s, 30s, or 40s, they started introducing prohibition for marijuana. But it was known that Jakes in the inner city would use marijuana to smoke it. It was like a city drug. Then that's when Esau started criminalizing, because he seen that was a lucrative way to lock Jacob and make money off of it. And also just further destabilize our nation here in America. Destabilize our households and send our, certain households their father to prison or their mothers. So then there just be no leadership in our households, man, in our communities. And this was done out of hatred. Esau didn't see, look, Esau doesn't do what he do just for money. He has a beef. He has a legit hatred for our people. Yeah, he makes money on the back end of these different underhanded deals that he does, but it's out of a legit hatred. It says, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, in that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying they are laid desolate, and they are given us to consume. And that's what these Edomites believe through the various I should say through the years of us being in their hand. Oh, these niggas, they're just nothing. They'll never be anything. They're ours. You know, I ain't good at quoting Edomites, but you know, you can only imagine the type of things they say behind closed doors. Nigga this, nigga that, watermelon eating nigga, cockroaches, the monkeys. That's how they talk about us. Why? Because we're viewed as the lesser. But the Most High said he's heard that. And all of this is to get taken into consideration on how he's going to do you. And that is just. That's why this goes back to this lady speaking about fairness. Well, it's fair. The Most High is fair. It says, saying they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Thus with your mouth you have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord power, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it. And they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. You see, you're going to know after the Most High judges you. And you get a full payback for everything you've done to our people. And you're rejoicing. And Esau has this in the records. Trust me. Different elites. The elites have chronicles and handwritten letters from their ancestors going back to even when the first temple was destroyed by the Edomites, when the Babylonians enslaved the kingdom of Judah, and the Edomites helped destroy our temple. They at least got records of that, how they were sending things back and forth, rejoicing in different time periods where they had our people in our hands to every little minute thing of the celebrations they had. Hey, Thanksgiving, that's an open wide celebration to Esau to celebrate how he raped, robbed, and murdered to take America. So you devils, man, you gonna pay in full. So all praise goes to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and Shalom.